And we are ready to begin, and we're so pleased you're here, and we've waited for you your entire lives. Now, we say that to you each and every time we meet you, and if we have never met you, it will still be the same, because what we have given you is global, cosmic guidance to move through this period of your life, or your transition and your evolutionary journey, which we have said you were moving through a restructuring in your world, and you exist to aid that restructuring by deciding to become your best self. And that is what we have given you. And we're calling today the pathway to personal success and global peace, for they are paved exactly the same way. There is no human born that does not have the ability to cause the manifestation of this wonderful world that you all want to see, but it must first come from within you. And this is the guidance we have given you. Now, as long as you have existed on the planet, you always move through transitions. Now, you may not have experienced any of them or have no memory of them, but our messenger did, which is why he was the one to bring in this information for this time in your world. We understand that many of you are a little concerned or frightened or not sure of what is happening, but we're telling you that you exist now to create a magnificent world if you do one thing. Decide to love yourself. Decide to uncover who you are. Decide to move through all the previous limitations and restrictions that you have carried with you from all those who came before, from all generations. But this is the time that you meant to change that, which is why you are alive. You've never been in an accidental place. You've never done anything wrong, and you are still in the process of evolving. This is what we wanted you to understand, and we've laid it out in different ways for you. So what we had our messenger do, we shocked him yesterday because he didn't know this was coming, but we said the energies on your planet have changed. And so we would like you to give everyone a little bit more, because as you can feel today, we had him do this yesterday, by the way, because we knew what you would be feeling today, because we're always ahead of you, as we have always said, which is why we could give our messenger all of this information. Now, you will not be able to discern with your logical thinking how we could have given you messages years ago that are relevant to your life now and your world, but we have, because what we want you to understand is that you have always existed. You are all eternal spiritual beings, but you will not all make that choice in this particular lifetime or the life that you're living. However, we do know there are many of you who are listening to us now who do understand this, and who have been a little uncomfortable with the events that you've been witnessing in your life and also in your world. But we're saying they are perfect for you, because when you decide to move to this higher state of who you are, you shift the energy. You shift the energy of your planet within you first, but then of your planet. There's no human that has any more ability or power or gift than a higher purpose than any other soul. It's just that over civilizations you keep learning that lesson, which is why we say you're always in the process of moving to oneness, but that oneness must be first found within you. The one thing that we wanted you all to understand is that there is no hierarchy of souls, but you're experiencing something quite different in your world now, which is why we have given you this work, because we called it your life operating instructions, because you could not have possibly continued operating in the way that you were and expect your planet to sustain itself. But we have been a little bit behind because we couldn't get many of you to move, including our messenger. We're saying this because we have given him everything, and we've said this to him over and over again, but it doesn't matter if none of you use it and if he doesn't use it. So what we have done, we told him today, this is the last time you will do one of these ebooks, because we've done many of them. And if you go back through our messages just within the last year, or 2 years even, you will see that we started combining years, because we wanted you to understand there's an alignment in the universe. You're all aligned. We even gave you a message on your birthday in 2012, and when we've read it to you, you cried, because there was a recognition that you knew you mattered. You knew that you had a place in the world, even though you may not have lived it, because none of you have, and because you would never do that, because you have this unlimited potential as long as you're in physical form. However, However, what we are saying is that we know that many of you have not moved to that next place that you could have moved to, because otherwise your world would look quite different. Your world would not be in wars that it is having now, because see, that's old generational beliefs and ideas that you're all carrying on. Now, we've talked about the United States so much, and we're speaking about it again today, because you will see more energy shifts in their arena coming up. And this is all connected to the galaxies, the movement of your planets. It's all energetic. But you don't understand always how they affect you emotionally and how they affect your history. What we mean by that is that you each come into the world with memories, with a history, and it's always been limited. Please accept that. It's been limited and restricted, and some of them have not served you, but you're meant to move through them and let go of something. That is how evolution occurs, which we have said to all of you for years now, but it takes a while for you to accept it because you have to break through your disbelief. Now, it is challenging for many of you to understand, including our messenger, how he could have had all of this information and didn't know that he had it. He didn't even know that he had the string of messages that we provided for you today until we told him to go and find them last night. We're saying this because we want each of you to accept the fact that there's so much within you that you do not know that you have, because it's in that generational history that you each carry. But now the thing is you have to do is sort through that history and only pull out what is going to be the best for you now in this life, and what you know will be the best for your world moving forward. Because we told you, you are the ones who are creating your future and the future of your world. Again, there is no human that has any more ability to do that than you. But see, it's a collective energy that then starts to shift things. The planets will continue to move, and you will have energies that you may not understand, but if you decide to let go and go with them, meaning accepting more of you, then it becomes much easier. And this is the guidance that we have given you. Now, it's kind of ridiculous for many of you to think that someone could have sat down and just received this information for more than 35 years and bring it here now for your world to use to ascend to a higher state of being, but that is what is happening. Now, we can't have you believe it, however, which we've also said, but we're moving him forward now because we've also set things in place. He has a plan that he needs to move through, just like all of you, but he stopped. You have stopped yourself as well. And if you hadn't, your world would look quite different. We want you to continually think of that, because the only difficulty any of you have is not understanding your individual importance in being alive. And this is what we wanted to have all of you understand. But our messengers had difficulty as well, because it was shocking to him that we could have given him all of this information all of these years. It has completely healed his body. He's doing a reverse aging thing, which many couldn't understand. However, if you study your sciences a bit more, you know that is what happens when you move to a higher state of consciousness. Now, all of you will not do that, and you're going to witness others in your world who will not choose that path either. However, they are perfect for you, because then they awaken you to what you are on the earth at this time to do. Now, we want you to think about something. The only way that you experience yourself is in your consciousness. There is nothing else, and so no one else has any power over you, which is another message that we gave you this week. No one is more important than you, but you've just had generations where you haven't understood that, and you've been taught something else. And this is why we've also talked often about cognitive dissonance, because what you're going to experience in yourselves and also in your world are those who have not taken control of their thinking. You have not done that as well. And so this is why we wanted you to have your first focus on your consciousness, on your thinking. And as you read through the messages that we have given you today, you will see how that changes. But the other thing you will notice is that it will not change right away, which is why we wanted you to be patient with yourself, because then you muster more energy to keep ascending to the higher state of who you are meant to become in this world at this time, in this incarnation. We say that because we know many of you don't understand or accept that you might have had other lives, but we are saying your consciousness has always existed. You do not come in the world and just automatically have consciousness that is actualized within you. You receive it from somewhere. You receive it from others. But we said to you, it has always existed. You live in a world where you have what is called infinite intelligence. It's always there, and you just keep adding to it. But it's an important time now because you've created more things in your world. You've created new technology. So the type of consciousness that you each choose to put into yourselves and into the world will make a huge difference. And the consciousness of light and love is healing. And this is what you each can use in yourselves, which would then translate into your world, and you would see something quite different. Now, we will tell you that you have a couple of months left where you're going to move through some turbulent times, which is why we are shifting things up a bit, because we want our messenger to move and finish everything that we have given him, because he has not done that. We're saying that because we want to urge all of you to do the same thing. But he's becoming accountable now because he has 2 events coming up where our messages are going to get to a much broader audience. So he's being caught now, as we hope all of you are, because you have something that you haven't finished. Because if you did, you'd be happy, you'd be loving yourself, and you'd be abundant. See, because we gave you a message on this date 3 years ago, we actually had a conversation with you where we said you were meant to become prosperous and abundant now. And that happens when you own yourself. Again, it's only energy. It's all energy. And each of you were embedded with that energy when you were born, but it is aligned with your unique soul path. Now, we want to say something else because many of you are having some difficult times and you're struggling a bit and you're feeling that something has gone wrong. It has not. Some of you have been on the spiritual path for a really long time. You think you should have been somewhere else. That is never true either, because you have this eternal spiritual being that you're living right now. You're just in another phase, that's all. And we would like for you to take the next rung and a step up, whatever that might be for you, because you're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to have everything you want. You're supposed to be abundant. You're supposed to have the right relationships. You're supposed to love yourself. And what we have given you is a pathway to love yourself, because as we have said, that is the most powerful thing you can do, because love is the highest form of energy any of you can put into your world. But what you will see is those who are not letting go of that, which is why you're having wars. You're seeing generational wars continually going on because you have not let go of old grievances. That is the only reason. And it would be so much more beneficial for all of you if you could let them go and decide that you're going to have a good time, decide that you're going to love yourself. And this was what our wish was for you, which is why we've said we've given you the path to personal success and global peace. Because when you do that, you pass it on to generations. You live this great life, and then those who come later will have a much easier time. Now, we gave you a message where we said you didn't believe Buddha, Tesla, or Buddha, or Jesus either. None of them. Because you have to get over your belief of what you think is possible. When we gave this to our messenger, it was difficult for him to believe that he had done the kind of healing that he had. But we need him to move over that, to give it to more of you so that you can do the same thing. That is how evolution occurs. But it is challenging for many of you when you're creating something new to bring into the world. But you're all meant to do that, which is why we said you also have a unique path. And it is yours. No one else has it, and this is what we want you to live. Now, if you could put this together and understand that there's a collection of energy, and you each contribute to it, no matter when you might live on the planet, and the quality of the energy that you place into yourself will then emanate and go into the world, and the more of you who are deciding to love yourself, you will change everything that's happening and what you're seeing in your world now. But you have to move over some other things, and that is the separation that you have felt within yourselves, and that has been passed on from generation to generation. And it's mainly been done with your religions and your ethnicities and your races and your genders. You see, we wanted you to understand that you're a soul. There are no definitions in there that could tell you that you are any less than anyone else. You have a soul, and that is your consciousness. And we also wanted you to think you do not live in physical form forever. So when are you going to get on with doing the thing that you came to do? When are you going to decide to give yourself the best life that you could possibly have? And all you have to do is love yourself. And we said that several years ago, but you will hear it today. And one message that we want to leave you with, because we ended it with this. As you see, we gave you a message in 2013. The irony of your life. The irony of your life is that you move through it attempting to be something else, finding something, and only to discover that all you were trying to do or attempting to do is to become yourself. That is all that it is. You were never born any less than anyone else, but you are given a unique life path filled with everything that you endured, but all of those things were valuable in terms of the collective evolution of your world. That's why you are so important. We know it doesn't look that way in your world at this time, but that is also why we gave you all the information. And as you go back and you see that we did it over years, because there's a consciousness that you will accept at some time individually over linear time, and then there's a collective consciousness that your world will accept as well. And so we've given you that information over those times, due to the nature or the capability that you each held at a particular time in your civilization, where you could accept new information, and you will understand that. But we will tell you this is the best part. When you begin to do that, accepting every aspect of you, you find joy, you find bliss, you find happiness, and you also find abundance. You see, that's the process, and we've given it to all of you, and now we would love for all of you to start living it. That is how you will find your personal success, and that's how all of you will manifest global peace. We love you all so very much.